Now we will go ahead and prepare this part of the two legs that will be connected to the servo of each individual foot, the left and right. For this we'll need the two one-sided seats for the servo from the corresponding backs of servo seats, and two M2 by 8 round head Phillips screws with corresponding nuts. They are in the bag that we already used, labeled number 2. We already used some of the bolts and nuts here. Now we will use 2 more bolts and 2 more nuts. I will go ahead and take them out. And put them back for later usage. Now I'll go ahead and take out the one-sided seat from the back. We're unlikely to need any more seats, so once when I'm done with this, I can put the back aside. And the same with this seat. Open its back, take out the one-sided seat, and leave the rest of the seats aside. The Elegoo people have drilled bigger hole here on the seat where we will put our bolts. To mount the seats, we need to take out the 2 plastic parts for each leg. And we're looking for the parts. There are 2 similar type of parts. We need the parts that have bigger holes and small hole here on the side. So if you compare them, these are very similar types, but this is the wrong type, this is the type we're looking for. There will be 2 of them in the set, and here is the second one. Again, the Elegoo people have included some spares. Hopefully I will not be needing them, but it's nice to have some spares in the set in case I do something wrong. Now I'll go ahead and peel the protective layer from the plastic, the same as we did with the other parts. It goes nice and easy, like this. Repeat the same procedure with the second one. And now we'll go ahead, place the seat on it, take the little bolt, protrude it through the hole in the seat. The hole is a little tight, but not that bad. So if necessary, we can use the screwdriver to drive our bolt through the hole, like this. Now I can put the nut on this side and tighten it. If necessary, I can use the tweezers to hold the nut in place while tightening. This is how it should look like once assembled, similar to what is shown on the picture, with the bolt on this side and the nut on this side. This one is done. We'll move to the next one. This one has slightly bigger hole on the seat, so the bolt goes easier. Place the nut, tighten. If necessary, use the tweezers to hold the nut in place and tighten. They are ready. Now we'll go ahead and mount this part of the leg on the servo on the foot, following this step, and then using those two small self-tightening screws, secure it in place. The self-tightening screws are in the corresponding servo seat backs. Those are these really small screws here, so I'll go ahead and take them. Those are the same backs of seats from where I took the two single-sided seats. So I'll go ahead, take the two small screws and prepare them. One thing to be aware is that since we don't know what is the position of the servo when the robot arrives, we most likely will need to readjust it later, so I am not going to tighten those screws very much. Put them loosely just to show you how and where they're supposed to go, and later most likely we'll need to unmount it temporarily, adjust the servo to the proper neutral position when we program the robot, and mount it at position 0. For now, I'll just go ahead, place this part on the servo and loosely tighten the screw to hold it in place. Repeat the same procedure with the other foot. Again, loosely tighten this screw so it will all stay together until we set the robot at position 0 and make sure everything is properly aligned. That's all. These two steps are now completed, and this will be our next step. In this step, we will assemble another two parts of the leg. These are those straight parts. I'll have to see once when the robot is completed where exactly they'll be mounted. On them, we'll place the two symmetric seats for servos. Since all the servos come with the same backs of seats, I will use the backs that I used earlier. I have leftover seats and we'll use the straight seats from them. We can use the seats from the other servo backs, from the two servos that we have not opened yet. Most likely these seats will be connected to them, but for now I don't want to open any more backs. I like to keep it simple. We will also need the same old M2x8 bolts with corresponding nuts from bag number 2. We'll need 4 such bolts and corresponding nuts. I'll go ahead and take them out. So here are 4 bolts and nuts for them. I'll leave the rest for later. Next we need to find the proper part. There should be 2 of them, and they're of this shape. Again, there appears to be some spares. I am more than happy to have some spares in case I make any mistakes. Leave the rest of the plastic parts aside for later and peel off the protective layer from the 2 parts for the legs. Find corner where the protective layer is loose and start peeling from there. Peel the second side. Repeat the same with this part. Take out the 2 straight symmetric seats as shown in the picture from the 2 bags. It's this type of seats. The Elegoo people have made big holes on them where we will mount them. Take the seats and place them to insert this sticking part here in the center within the hole as shown on the picture. Insert the bolt from the side of the seat through the hole. If necessary, use the screwdriver to drive it through. The same with this one. If there are any obstructions in the hole, we can clear them easily. Place the nuts on the 2 bolts, and since everything is already in place, we can tighten it. If necessary, use the tweezers to hold the nut for us. Same on this side. Tighten. And this part is ready. We will repeat the same procedure with this one. Place the seat, insert the 2 bolts, place the 2 nuts, and tighten them, if necessary with the help of the tweezers. This step is completed. Now it's time to continue with assembling the legs. On this step, we'll add these two pieces to the already prepared parts of the legs. We'll start by finding the pieces from the plastic bag. It is these two pieces here. Leave the rest for later. We will also need two M3x10 bolts with corresponding nuts. They are in back labeled 1 M3x10 12 pieces. And I'll go ahead and take them out. There are plenty more in this bag and they'll be needed for later. So I'll take just two bolts and two nuts for this step. And leave the rest for now. Before we assemble the pieces, again we need to peel the protective layer, similar to previous steps. Start from one corner and keep peeling until it's fully peeled. And the nice shiny plastic is exposed. Repeat the same with the second piece. Peel the protective layer. And now, look how it's supposed to be mounted. With the seat on this side, we'll mount it like this. So it will go on the same side where the seat is, with the two bolts and nuts sticking on this side. Take the bolt, protrude it through the hole, and place the nut in this slot as we did earlier. Then use the screwdriver to tighten the bolt. If necessary, you can use the tweezers to tighten it. In my case, this does not appear to be necessary. This one is complete. Now we'll repeat the same procedure with the second one. Again, make sure we do it on the side of the seat. Place it like this. This is symmetric, so it doesn't matter on which side you place it. Insert the bolt. Insert the nut in the slot. Like this, and then tighten the bolt. If necessary, use the tweezers. In my case, this does not appear to be necessary. So the two legs, at least these parts, are ready. We'll continue with the next step. In this step, we will continue to assemble the legs, following step number 13 from the manual. For this, we will need two different types of bolts and nuts. We will need two M3x10 bolts and corresponding nuts. We already have used quite some of them. They are from bag labeled number 1. And from bag number 3, we will need the M3x8 bolts with the M3 lock nuts. There are only two of them, so this bag is easy. We'll just go ahead and now take out the two bolts and nuts from this bag. From the other bag I'll need two bolts and two nuts. There's still some more, obviously for later. I'll go ahead and for now take out two bolts and two nuts and leave the rest for later. Before we continue, I will make sure I know which one goes where. Okay? It appears to be quite easy. The longer bolts M3x10 will go again on the top as we did on this side, with the corresponding nut in this slot, and then we'll go ahead and tighten the bolt. For now I will leave it on purpose loosely tightened so I can adjust everything if necessary. After that we'll tighten it. Repeat the same with this leg. As you can see, the two parts come together like this, with the top part, this is obviously the foot, and this is the top part of the leg, the top part on the inside, on the side of the servo. Take out the long M3x10 bolt, the corresponding nut, place the nut in the slot and tighten the bolt. Again, for now we'll leave it loosely tightened so we can adjust everything in place. Once adjusted, we'll tighten it completely. Now we take this special lockout nuts. As you can see, they are not symmetric. They have this lock side here, the lock nuts. Insert the bolts, place the nuts on the inside with the lock side toward the servo, like this, and tighten the bolt. Do not over tighten, as this joint has to be loose. You can see that the leg is flexible around this joint. The nut and the bolt are rotating loosely here. Once when this is done, we can go ahead and tighten everything in place. Specifically, this bolt that we left untightened. If needed, use the tweezers to hold the nut in place. We repeat the same procedure here, placing the bolt on the outside, the nut on the inside, with the lock part on the side of the servo. And tighten, leaving the joint loose so the leg can operate. Once when it is done, we can go ahead and tighten this bolt. The two legs are now completed. And we can go ahead with the next step of the robot assembly.